Hello everyone, hope you all are doing good. This is Amrinder Pal saying I'm here to present the case study part 2 about the Google Data Center physical and environmental security. Let's start with the physical and environmental security of Google Data Center. So Google has created a vibrant and inclusive security culture. The influence of this culture is apparent during the hiring process, employee onboard as part of ongoing training, and in company-wide event to raise awareness of the security. So the Google do employee background check. So before they join Google staff, they'll verify the individual's education, previous employment, and perform internal and external reference check where local labor law or statutory regulation permit. Google may also conduct criminal record check, credit check, immigration and security check. So the extent of the background check is dependent upon the desired position. So another is security training for all the employees. So all Google employees undergo the security training as the part of orientation process and receive ongoing security training throughout the Google career. So the security training almost quarterly basis they provide, and if there is a new security policies revised, so they do provide the training to give the more awareness to the employees. For internal security and the privacy events, the Google hosts regular internal conference to raise awareness and the drive innovation in the security and the data privacy, which are open to all employees. Security and privacy is an ever evolving area, and Google recognized that dedicated employee engagement is the key means of raising awareness. So they provide the awareness by training and conducting the new events to promote the security. So security is the basic and the more important key for the Google. Another is system monitoring. So the Google security monitoring program is focused on information gathering from the internal network traffic, employees action on system, and the outside knowledge of risk or vulnerability. At many points across Google global network, internal traffic is inspected for suspicious behavior, such as presence of traffic that might indicate botnet connections. Another is authorization control. Access right and the level are based on the employee's job function and the role, using the concept of least privilege and need to know to match access privilege to define responsibility. So Google employees are only granted a limited set of default permission to access company resources and the Google's internal portal. Employees are granted access to certain additional resources based on their specific job function. Requested for additional access follow a formal process that involves a request and a approval from the data or system owner or manager or other executive as dictated by the Google security policy. So approval are managed by workflow tool that maintain audit records for all chains. Then now talk about the personal control. Google employees are required to conduct themselves in a manner of consistent with the company's guideline regarding confidentiality, business ethics, appropriate uses, and the professional standard. Upon acceptance of employment at Google, all employees are required to execute a confidentiality agreement and must acknowledge receipt of compliance with policies in the Google Employees Handbook. The confidentiality and the privacy of the customer information and data is emphasized in the handbook and during new employee orientation. Organizational security and the physical security team to maintain maintain the security at the data center. So the organizational security is broken down into several teams that focused on specifically information security, global security auditing, and physical security for protection of Google hardware infrastructure. These teams work together to address Google's overall global computing environment. So if we talk about the physical security team, Google maintains a global team of staff headquartered in the United States dedicated to the physical security of the Google's office and data center facility. Google security officers are qualified with the training to protect high security enterprise with the mission critical infrastructure. And the security officer has gone through a rigorous training to provide the security to these data centers. Let's move on. Physical security of data center. The Google data center physical security including the safeguard like custom design electronic access card, alarm, vehicle access barrier, perimeter fencing, metal detector and biometric, thermal imaging camera, and the data center floor feature laser beam intrusion detection. Google data centers are monitored 24/7 by high-resolution interior and exterior camera that can detect and track intruder. So if we talk about detail, the technology and the security mechanism used in these facilities may vary depending on local conditions such as building location and the regional risks. The standard physical security control implemented at each Google data center include custom design electronic access card control system, then interior and exterior camera, and the security guard. So access to the area where system or system components are installed or stored are segregated from the general office and the public areas such as lobby. So the camera and alarms are each of these areas are centrally monitored for suspicious activity, and the facilities are routinely patrolled by security guard. So Google's facility use high resolution camera with the video analytics and other system to detect and track intruder. So activity records and camera footage are kept for the later review. Additional security controls such as thermal imaging camera, perimeter fencing, and biometric may be used on a risk basis. So access to the data center facility is restricted to authorized Google employee, approved visitor, and approved third party whose job it is to operate the data center. So Google maintained a visitor access policy and the procedure stating that data center manager must approve any visitor in advance for the specific internal area they wish to visit. The visitor policy also applies to the Google employee who do not uh, normally have access to the data center facility. So Google audit who has access to its data center on a quarterly basis to prevent any kind of unauthorized access or any kind of breach. So Google restricts access to its data center based on the role, not position. As a result, more senior executives at the Google do not have access to the Google data center. Environmental security of Google's data center. So Google employs a set of control to support its operating environment. So let's talk about the power. To support Google's continuous 24/7 operation, so Google Data Center electrical power system include redundant systems, a primary and alternative power sources, each with equal capacity is provided for every critical component in the data center. upon initial failure of primary electrical power source due to cause such as a utility brownout, blackout, overvoltage, undervoltage, or out of tolerance frequency condition. An alternate power supply is intended to provide power until the backup generators can take over. So the diesel engine backup generator are capable of providing enough emergency electrical power to run the data center at full capacity for a period of time. Now, if we talk about the climate and the temperature, so Google custom design air cooling is there to maintain a constant operating temperature for the server and the other computing hardware. Cooling prevents overheating and reduces the possibility of service outage. Computer room air conditioning units are powered by both normal and emergency electrical system. So now talk about fire detection and suppression. So automated fire detection and suppression equipment helps prevent damage to computing hardware. The fire detection system utilizes heat, smoke, and a water sensor located in the data center ceiling and underneath the raised floor. In the event of fire or smoke, the detection system triggers audible and the visible alarm in the affected zone. At the security operation console and at the remote monitoring desk, manually operated fire extinguishers are also located throughout the data center. So that data centers technicians receive a training on fire prevention and incipient fire extinguishment, including the use of the fire extinguisher to control the fire. Now we are talking about disaster recovery and the business continuity. To minimize the service interruption due to hardware failure, natural disaster, or other catastrophe, Google implemented disaster recovery recovery program at all of its data center. This program includes multiple components to minimize the risk of any single point of failure. Data replication and the backup. The Google application data is replicated to the multiple system within the data center and in some case also replicated to the multiple data center. Just in case of the failure of one data center, then the information can pull from the another data center. So Google operates a geographically distributed set of data center that is designed to maintain service continuity in the event of disaster or other incident of single reason. So high-speed connection between these data center helps to support swift failover. Management of the data center is also distributed to provide location independent around the clock coverage and the system administration. So before wrapping up, I just want to answer the question which I put up in the part 1. So what physical and environmental security policy appear to be missing at the Google data center? So as per my opinion, if any personnel fail at following and enforcing the physical security policy, then there is a risk of the physical security breach. For example, no tailgating sign. So I have seen the no tailgate sign or the policy in the data center, and it could be easily ignored because employee think there is no issue or there is no such rule to follow, and this could be a direct impact on the data center's physical access control, because if we fail, then anybody can tailgating and can easily enter into the data center, and which can lead to the unauthorized access and a possible breach, and it can create a huge impact. to loss of data or any kind of damage to the data center. So here I'm gonna wrap up my whole presentation. So hopefully you guys enjoy my presentation, and thanks for listening. Have a good day. Thank you.